Yeah, all right. I'm still talking about comedy. Yes, comedy is not just to make you laugh. Actors, when you want to understand comedy, as I said, it's about conflicts that are not resolvable easily, because I didn't talk about, okay, a story. Naturally, we know that a story must have a beginning, middle, and an end, and all, and a story must have conflict, it must have resolution. So, before resolution, there even might be complication. So all those things are part of a story. But as I said, for comedy, the conflict or the complication, they are easily resolvable. They don't cause too much damage. They probably have some mistakes or some misconception. People not expressing themselves well, and the story is created around it. And so basically, that's how comedy is, structured and situated. Correctable mistakes. And I can give you examples of comedy. And the one that people are talking about that is, is to elicit laughter. Yes, yes. Some comedy are specifically done to elicit laughter. Some of them, we call them farce. Those ones are specifically done for laughter. You see, even from the dressing of the characters, they are meant to make people laugh. You see the lead character already, once you see the character, you are laughing already. So that's some comedy to make you laugh. But we also have situational comedy, which a lot of people call sitcom. And sitcom comedy of situations, yeah, that it does not particularly need a funny character. Yeah, sometimes they use funny characters for sitcoms, but it doesn't particularly need a funny character, a funny person. Anybody can be in sitcom. The situations are they are it's the situations that are funny. They put you in a difficult situation where you need to. The situation already is funny. That's the way I want to put it as a layman language. The situation is funny already. So any good actor can play it, and that's why they call it situational comedy. They create a funny situation where we now see how people react, and everybody will be thinking, if I were in that situation, how am I going to get out of it and all. So it's situational. And then the popular one that everybody knows, rom-com. They call it rom-com. Is romantic comedy. That one that has lovers and maybe their parents don't. Their parents are against the relationship and all, but in the end, they are able to weather through or something. The society, anything, and at the end, they come back together and they live happily ever after and they get married. We've seen a lot of rom coms. So that's a comedy. And a lot of people say, don't know. So if you say comedy is just laughter, laughter, then what about rom com? So comedy is broad. And you have to understand, even we still have satire as part of comedy. We have several subgenres that you can actually get into when you're talking about comedy. And I do not want to dwell too much, but what I need you to take away from this comedy analysis is that, by our own definition, comedy is not just to elicit laughter. So the definition is simple. The structure, the conflict in the story is easily resolvable. It doesn't carry too much mistakes that you cannot correct. So that's basically what comedy is. And the next one I will go to is the opposite of is tragedy. And tragedy is in a world of its own. And when I ask people about tragedy too, the definition that they gave me for tragedy was, yes, tragedy is a play that has deaths, that people died, that people are sad and all. And the same response that I will give to you about comedy, that I gave to you about comedy, is what I'm going to talk to you about when it comes to tragedy as well. Tragedy is not just defined by death and tears and all, and heavy laden emotions and all. There are major elements in tragedy that you can use as actors just to define and say, oh, yes, this is a tragedy. But if you don't have those foundation, you probably may not be able to know, because sometimes it can be confusing to actually classify or put a drama or a story in a genre that some are actually unboxable, trust me. So I'm going to go into a little analysis of tragedy in the next video.